Thank you. On that note, I would definitely like to invite all of you to drive yourself with that powerful energy so that you are all ready to our golden speaker. And before that, allow me to introduce who this golden lady is from. She is from somewhere really, really far away from us, but she is ever ready to serve. And I learned so much from her when she was visiting Malaysia in the year 2019 in Ipoh. In fact, all of us, when we saw her, we were magnetized by her tremendous energy to serve, and most importantly, her care for the people. She is a lighthouse owner. She is also a very successful entrepreneur. In addition to that, she never forgets to serve the people, to upgrade herself all the time. In fact, she is a mathematician. How is that? And also she speaks German. Danke, Lark, Doley. With this, it's my honor definitely to invite all of you, if possible, to on your video and give our beautiful, gorgeous golden Lark Doley the loudest round of applause to welcome her on stage, ladies and gentlemen. We will now invite you to on your video if possible and give Lark Doley the loudest round of applause. Thank you so much. We love you, Lark Doley. And it's my honor to hand the control over to our golden leadership principles. Take it away.
Thank you, Madam Division P Director. Golden greetings, Toastmasters from around the world. It is truly an honor to be with you. And remember, I started in Toastmasters in the 20th century. Yes, many of you weren't even born then, or you were just wee children at the time. I joined Toastmasters in September 1990. I will celebrate my 32nd year in Toastmasters in September of this year. My journey has been a long one, and it has been an amazing journey of leadership and communication development throughout those 32 years. Today, I have the privilege to talk to you about some golden leadership principles that have emerged during my Toastmasters journey over the last 32 years. And I need to have you stop sharing the screen so that I can share it. And I look forward to doing so. Golden leadership principles. As I said, I have been in this organization for 32 years. And now I want to find out something about you before we discuss these 7 principles. I have today 2 chat masters, and I want you to welcome them. They will be reading the chat for me tonight so that I can focus on the presentation. As I ask you questions, I want you to enter your responses very concisely into the Zoom chat. And my first question for you is, where is your home country? Where are you from? I'm delighted that many of you have entered information into the chat about your clubs and about where you're from. But right now, enter the country that you're from, or perhaps enter the city and the country where you're from. I want to find out how globally we are represented. And if you would, Sukwa, read off their answers in the chat as they write them into the chat. All of you know I am from Austin, Texas, United States of America, but I am so honored to be Zooming with all of you around the globe. So Sukwa, where are they from?
All right, we can see that many of them are from Malaysia, and we have also people from Singapore, Taiwan, India, and all the way UK. And also we have people from Myanmar and Thailand, Indonesia, Zimbabwe, China. Wow, that's amazing. It's literally around the globe.
Thank you so much for that. And now I want to know, why did you join Toastmasters if you've been in Toastmasters less than 5 years? Or why do you stay in Toastmasters if you've been a member for more than 5 years? Again, into the chat, type why you joined Toastmasters if you've been in less than 5 years, or why you stay in Toastmasters if you've been in Toastmasters more than 5 years. Like many of you, I joined Toastmasters to improve my communication skills. But then I found out about the leadership opportunities in this organization and relished learning leadership skills. I stay in Toastmasters because I want to support each of you in your development, and I want to continue to develop in this organization. But I also have made lifelong friends and want to continue to make those lifelong friends in Toastmasters. Madam Chatmaster, what are the responses in the chat?
Right. I can see many of them, they have written they want to improve their personal development is for learning purposes. And of course, there are many people who stay in Toastmasters because of the amazing people in the organization to make friends. And some believe that learning is a never-ending journey. That's why they are still here. And there are also people who love to join contests. So that is also something extraordinary. Yeah, and moving on, of course, there are those communication and also leadership skills. Yes, thank you.
You so much. And now you've already told me that you've developed some communication and leadership skills in Toastmasters. I'd like you to be as specific as possible and enter into the chat some specific skills that you have learned through your Toastmasters membership. So type in some specific skills. And as you're doing that, I want you to know that the very first skill that I learned, and I am continuing to learn, is to think before I speak. That is a difficult lesson for me to learn, but Toastmasters certainly has tried to teach that to me over my 32 years. And for leadership, I have learned to listen before I lead. So those are some of the key skills I believe that I have learned and continue to learn in this organization. Madam Chatmaster, what about our audience? What skills have they learned?
Yes, I think they have also mentioned what you have just mentioned, which is the listening skills. We have become a better listener after joining Toastmasters. And another one that I can see is storytelling. We learned to improve our storytelling skills to attract the attention of the audience. And of course, there are also people who improve their presentation skills and also discover about themselves more. And definitely there are many more skills that's coming on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. My next question for you is, how have your Toastmasters experiences positively impacted your personal and professional lives? So again, in the chat, give us an idea of how your professional life and your personal life has been positively impacted by your Toastmasters membership. And as you're doing that, I will tell you that I believe my last position since I retired in March 2021 resulted in part from my membership in Toastmasters. My last manager was a charter member of the Maximus Toastmasters Club. He saw my skills in Toastmasters, and when a position opened in his organization, he hired me. And when the management position opened in his organization, he promoted me. Madam Chatmaster, what are they saying in the chat as far as how Toastmasters has impacted their personal or professional life?
Well, I think there are many different kinds of interesting answers. Like, for example, our district director, Grace, she said that it has accelerated her career. And Ivy said it has trained her to become a lecturer to a college director. Some have improved their communication skills with their families, convey their message more confidently, and enlighten people's life in many ways. And for me personally, I have transitioned from an accountant to become a trainer today. Yeah, so that's my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And my final question, which you do not have to enter into the chat, but I want you to consider, and by the end of this presentation, I hope that you will have a response. And that is, what is your next golden step in Toastmasters? Is it a leadership step? Is it the Distinguished Toastmaster designation? So what is your next golden step in Toastmasters? And by the end, I hope you have an answer to that if you don't have one now. The 7 C's of golden leadership are listed here. And how many of you practice these 7 C's of golden leadership? I bet many of you practice many of these already, but let's explore these in depth. The first leadership principle is communication. How many ways do we communicate in the 21st century? I told you that I joined Toastmasters in the 20th century, and there were fewer communication techniques in the 20th century than have emerged in the 21st century. In the chat, I want you to type your most frequent ways of communication. Tonight, we are communicating via the Zoom chat. What other forms of communication do you use frequently on a regular basis, day to day? And type those forms of communication into the chat. I will tell you that I have become much more proficient at Zoom over the last 3 years. And I enjoy Zooming with my granddaughters on a regular basis. That is one of the golden linings in the pandemic cloud for me, is regularly communicating via Zoom with my granddaughters. I love to text with them as well. And text is one of the forms of communication that I use most frequently with many, many people. Madam Chatmaster, what are the forms of communication that they use most frequently?
I think more than 90% of them wrote WhatsApp. WhatsApp. Yes.
Absolutely. And I use that with Patricia regarding this session today. So absolutely, I use WhatsApp frequently as well. Thank you so much. Well, when we think about how effective we are in communicating in all of the different forms of communication that we use, how effective were you before you joined Toastmasters, and how effective are you now with those different forms of communication? And how has Toastmasters impacted your effectiveness in communicating? When I think about Toastmasters and how effective I was before joining and how effective I am now, I do believe that I've taken quantum leaps in my communication skills. And I believe that's all because of the practice and the feedback that I've received throughout the years. What about you? Communicating in all the various forms is the foundation of leadership. And I believe that we literally communicate from the time we wake up in the morning until the time we fall asleep at night in one of those 21st century forms of communication. And we all have different communication styles. And in our Pathways program, it talks about different communication styles and different leadership styles. So when you think about your communication style, are you a driver? Drivers are results driven. They mince no words when they are stating their opinion in communicating with others. They are focused on the present. Analytical communicators are focused on data, are focused on facts, are focused on analyzing the data to make the correct decisions. Analytical thinkers research past results to determine future performance. Analytical thinkers are data-driven. Supportive communicators are focused on the team, and they will do anything to support the team in achieving their goals, even if that could be to their personal detriment. And finally, initiating communicators. Those are the extroverts. Those are the futurists. Those are the intuitors. They often speak before they think, but because of Toastmasters, they are learning to think first and speak second. So when you think about your communication style, what is your dominant communication style? What is your secondary communication style? And when you think about members of your club, when you think about members of the district, when you think about your coworkers, your family, your friends, what are their communication styles? In order to communicate effectively, we need to adapt our communication style to the communication styles of those with whom we are communicating. If we are communicating with an analytical communicator, we need to give them the data, the facts, so that they understand why we are asking them to do what we are asking them to do. If we are communicating with a driver, then we just need to get to the point, tell them what we need, and let them go achieve that goal. If we are dealing with supportive communicators, then we need to tell them the benefits to the team. And if we're dealing with those initiating communicators, then we need to tell them what's in it for them. So what is your dominant communication style? What is your secondary style? And how will you adapt your style to the communication style of others? Your first communication responsibility as a leader is to communicate your vision. And you need to also involve your team in that vision. In order to engage your team in the vision, you need to give them the opportunity to express how they would achieve the vision. Engage them in the goal-making process so that they will support your vision and they will achieve the goals needed to achieve the vision. Communication is the #1 key to golden leadership. It is the foundation of all the other principles of leadership. Commitment is the #2 key to golden leadership. And I love this quote that commitment is an act, not a word. We are judged by our actions regarding our level of commitment. Our actions prove our commitment. Our commitment is evaluated by our actions. So commitment is an act, not a word. How committed are you to achieving your goals in Toastmasters? How committed are you in leading your clubs, in leading your districts, and fulfilling the mission of our clubs, our districts, and our entire organization? We have to show that commitment through our actions. We are dedicated to our club officers for ensuring that our clubs meet the needs of our members. We are dedicated to our district leaders for their support of our clubs and the club officers. We are dedicated to these leaders for their commitment. Now, in the chat, I want you to write one goal that you will commit to achieve in either Toastmasters, your career, or in your personal life. So write down a goal that you will commit to achieve in Toastmasters, in your career, or in your personal life. I will tell you that I am focused on a new personal goal. I want to find an organization that supports children because my deceased husband believed that all children should be protected, all children should be safe, all children should be allowed to achieve their full potential. So I am seeking out organizations that support children, and I want to become involved in that type of organization in 2022. Madam Chatmaster, what are they saying in the chat regarding their goals, either in Toastmasters, in their professional life, or in their personal life?
Right, thank you. I think that's quite a deep question. So far, there are still responses coming in. And Cor from Telok Intan Toastmasters Club mentioned he would like to learn how to handle conflicts, personal development and growth. And Dorothy said, sharpen my excellence. And our Division W director said, oh, he wants to complete his 3rd pathways. Okay, that's a goal that we can strive for as well. And yeah, Herlina mentioned she wants to achieve Distinguished Toastmaster, the highest recognition in Toastmaster. That's definitely a great goal that we need a lot of commitment to do it. And our region advisor, Po Kim Seong, said how to keep everyone happy. That's
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chatmaster. These questions, I am not going to ask you to enter in your answers into the chat, but you need to know the answers to these questions in order to achieve the goals you are committing to achieve. And that is, what actions will you take on a monthly basis to fulfill those commitments that you are making? And finally, who will support you as a mentor to achieve your goals? This is critical to our organization and to us personally. When I served as president, I had 3 mentors. So we need to have mentors throughout our journey in Toastmasters, throughout our careers, throughout our personal lives. So don't forget, we need to plan the actions we will take to achieve our goals and have mentors to support us. So commitment is the number 2 key to golden leadership. The third key to golden leadership is collaboration. Now, what is the definition of collaboration? I'd like you to enter into the chat your definition for the word collaboration. And when you think about collaboration and you think about Toastmasters clubs, areas, divisions, districts, regions, and our entire international organization, we have to collaborate in order to achieve our goals at every level of our organization. Madam Chatmaster, how are they defining the word collaboration?
Right, yes, I think we have a quite common answer. One word that I can see in every answer is the word work. Working together with others and working harmoniously with everyone. Togetherness, synergize. Yes, I think the key word here is working together.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. We have to work together without ego. That is critical in this definition. It is cooperation. It is teamwork. It's leveraging the strengths of the team. It's relishing the diversity of the team, all toward a common goal. We must focus on our core values in order to collaborate effectively. Integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And we need to use those core values to achieve the mission of our organization through teamwork, working toward the common goal to achieve the missions of our organization. When I think about collaboration, and I thank Patricia so much for sending me the photos that she sent me to include in the presentation. Collaboration, whenever we are coordinating an event, and as I said, from a club meeting all the way to a district conference, to regional interactions with our district leaders, to the international convention, all of these require collaboration, teamwork to achieve the goals. And I loved this picture of the club officers training and this session and all of the people who attended the session. Collaboration was required by your Division P director in order to have a successful club officers training. Someone mentioned that they want to learn how to manage conflict more effectively as one of their goals, their commitments. And absolutely, have you ever experienced conflict at work, within your family, with friends, or in Toastmasters? Tell me it isn't so. Absolutely, we've all experienced conflict in probably multiple forms. But conflict is defined by me in this context as battle, discord, struggle, the absence of communication. When I think about conflict, I think about it in negative, destructive terms. We welcome healthy debate in our organization. We welcome healthy discourse. We welcome healthy discussion. We welcome disagreements to learn different perspectives. But when it rises to conflict, to the absence of communication, then it is destructive. So what we say is that conflict is fueled by ego and cannot survive without it. But when we manage conflict, then our words and our actions positively support our missions. We are communicating. We are eliminating ego. Communication is the fuel for collaboration. Whenever there is a conflict, you need to address it immediately, and you address it with communication. Often, conflict is simply misunderstandings, miscommunication. And if we need to engage a mediator in order to resolve conflict, then engage that mediator. But remember, conflict is fueled by ego. And if we will eliminate ego and focus on the mission, our actions and words focused on the missions, then we will eliminate conflict and we will be able to manage it positively. In the last 3 years, we have been experiencing the storms of change. We have been living in turbulent times. But as the storms of the pandemic subside, we welcome the rainbow of hope and the golden opportunities at the end of that rainbow. We embrace positive change. So when you joined Toastmasters, did you expect to change? And were those changes positive? Absolutely. When the pandemic struck, it was difficult to accept the pandemic, but we embraced the pandemic and adapted to it by making positive changes, by going online with our clubs, our events. So whenever we are impacted by change, we need to think about how to react to that change. And when you think about your normal reactions to change, do you normally react negatively to change, or do you react positively more often? Well, I think it depends on the change. When we're forced to change, we may often look at that change negatively. But sometimes even when we know the change is for our benefit, it's difficult to embrace it. So our negative reactions to change start with denial. And I will tell you, when the pandemic struck, I was in denial. I thought we would overcome the pandemic in a month, 2 months, 3 months max, not 3 years. But our organization acknowledged the pandemic immediately, accepted it, and realized that we had to change in order to survive the pandemic. So what were the changes that we made? Well, in the March 2020 board meeting, which was my last March board meeting, before we left that board meeting, decided that all of our clubs had to meet online for the safety of our members. We changed our contest to online. We changed our conferences to the online format. I thank all of you for your positive reaction to change, which is our number 5 key to golden leadership. Our number 6 key to golden leadership is courage. Our board of directors acted with courage when the pandemic struck. And you, as clubs, areas, divisions, districts around the world, you reacted positively by embracing our new online format. It took courage for our leaders to face the adversity of the pandemic and to make the decisions that we needed to make in order for our organization to survive and, I believe, to thrive in the new normal after the pandemic. We went from in-person meetings to online meetings, and now many of us are embracing hybrid meetings. Out of my 3 Toastmasters clubs, one of my Toastmasters clubs has embraced the hybrid format. My corporate club has not and will continue to meet online. My second community club wants to embrace the hybrid format, but needs to find a location with the internet connectivity in order to go to hybrid meetings. Pathways, we are so fortunate that our board of directors almost 10 years ago had the vision and the courage to want to develop an online educational program. We did so and introduced our online pathways in the 2017-2018 year. Yes, we had some technology challenges, but every month, every quarter, every year, Pathways becomes more user-friendly. We currently have 11 paths with over 300 competencies that we can gain from Pathways. Pathways is integrated communication and leadership skills development. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful, and I hope that you are too. So our number 6 key to golden leadership was courage. Our last key to golden leadership is celebration. We must recognize and celebrate the achievements of our members, our clubs, our districts, our regions, our entire international organization. So how do you celebrate member achievements? How do you celebrate club achievements? And how often do you do this? I hope that you are celebrating member Pathways achievements every time a level is achieved. I hope you are celebrating club, distinguished club program achievements every time a distinguished club point is achieved. I hope that you are also celebrating member achievements in their personal and professional lives. The opportunity for recognition and celebration is abundant. Celebrate at every opportunity. I want to acknowledge, as was already acknowledged in the preface for this meeting, the golden achievement by advanced ardent speakers of being a President's Distinguished Club already. Congratulations, and to all of you for your member achievements, your club achievements, and your district achievements this year. Congratulations. As we've discussed, I had the golden privilege to be with District 51 in Malaysia in 2019, along with other districts that year when we were still able to visit districts around the world. I am so thrilled that our international leaders are once again visiting districts around the world and experiencing the golden benefits of meeting in person with our district leaders. So what are the 7 golden leadership keys? Communication is the foundation of leadership. Commitment is fulfilled through our actions and is evaluated by our actions. Collaboration begins with our core values and is fueled by communication. Conflict is fueled by ego, but it is quelled by collaboration and communication. Change spurs us to growth, to creativity and innovation. Courage is required to face adversity and make the tough leadership decisions. And celebration recognizes achievement. These are the 7 golden leadership keys. We have abundant leadership opportunities from the club level all the way through the international level of our organization. All of us are volunteers. This year, we have 14 regions, 22 region advisors, and 123 districts worldwide. Your Region 13 advisor is Sudash, and I am honored that he chose to serve as a region advisor for the past 2 years. Our president, Richard E. Peck, a courageous leader in our organization, and your international director from Region 13, Gary Shashadri. My favorite leadership quote is, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. So I ask you again, what is your next golden step in Toastmasters? I thank my chat masters tonight. I also want to thank Patricia and Albert. So thanks to all of you who've been a part of coordinating this session tonight. It has been my golden honor to be with you. And now I return control to, I believe, our chat master to ask questions.
Yes, thank you very much to distinguished Toastmaster, past international president, Lark Doley. Can we just give her a big round of applause? Thank you. So just now, distinguished Toastmaster Lark Doley asked us many profound questions. It's a reflection for us, especially for us in our Toastmasters journey as a leader. How can we improve our leadership skills? And right now, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box and we will address them accordingly. So first, I would like to have a first question for Lark. Yes. So in your opinion, what's the #1 pitfall of becoming a golden leader we should avoid at all costs? What's the #1 pitfall of becoming a golden leader we should avoid at all costs?
Being ego-driven. So we are servant leaders, and there is no room in our organization for ego. Ego is what literally creates conflict. If we are focused on the missions of our organization, then we will not be ego-driven. I can tell you, in the business world, I have experienced conflict, and I've experienced working with challenging people, working with a challenging manager. I always did my job. I always achieved my goals in the organization, no matter how challenging they were. I had goals, a mission in my work and in Toastmasters, and I strive to achieve it. So eliminate ego. It's not about you. It's not about position. It's not about title. It is about meeting our members' needs.
Right, thank you. So right now we also have a question from Radzi. How do you celebrate your club's achievement during pandemic, and what do you miss the most about celebrating it physically?
Oh, that's a very good question. So obviously what I miss about celebrating physically is being able to give people a big hug, a big physical hug. And unfortunately online we can't do that, but we can certainly do clapped hands. We can do them in reaction mode, right? So we can put the hearts, we can put the hands, so we can do that, but we can still show them certificates online. So we can use those certificates for showing and acknowledging those achievements and then send them to them, right? And we can send them to them either online or we can send them physically through the mail. But the bottom line is we need to recognize achievements, whether they be online or in person. But I absolutely miss the hugs in person.
Yes, I definitely miss that too. Thank you for that answer. In your opinion, distinguished Toastmaster Lark, what are your top 3 values as a golden leader? What are your top 3 values as a golden leader?
Well, when I think about the values of our organization, certainly I would always go with the integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And integrity to me is definitely at the top of that. I believe if we have integrity, then all of the other core values fall into place. But I believe that our core values are strong core values. Now, today I've shared 7 principles with you. And so I certainly believe in those principles that augment our core values. I've been asked in the past, what additional core values would I add if I had the opportunity to add a core value to the 4 core values for the organization? And I think if I did, I would add accountability, because I believe that we need to be accountable. So we need to be committed to our organization, the goals of our organization, the mission of our organization. And I believe that that could be embraced by the value of accountability.
Thank you. I love that. Accountability. Yes, thank you. So now we also have a question from Patsy. What would you advise for some senior members who are not familiar with the online pathway learning? How can we inspire them on this change?
So senior leaders, absolutely. The senior leaders who have not embraced pathways, I think it's because of the technology. I think we need to continuously offer opportunities for demonstrating the technology and working with them one-on-one. So I will tell you that 2 of my clubs hold orientation sessions. And they hold those orientation sessions not only for new members, but they hold pathways orientations, and they hold these regularly. So I think it's educating those senior members on the technology, because let's face it, some of it is not intuitive. And for those individuals who are not technology savvy, they need to have that continuous reinforcement of how to get into pathways and to manage their paths. So I think it's a matter of continuous education, continuous opportunities to learn those technology skills.
Wow, that's a great answer. I believe that persistence is definitely very important. If this way doesn't work, then find another way to inspire them to embrace the new change. Thank you. So now we have another questions. Wow, many more questions coming up. So Duncan have a question. Yes, he agrees that we should eliminate the ego among ourselves. But how do we want to deal with ego when it's coming from the above? Our bosses or our senior leaders, if we notice we are working with such leaders with huge ego, how do we want to manage this?
Absolutely. Well, in the work environment, that can be more challenging, especially if it's your manager, right? So it can be more challenging there. What I would say, though, is we have to communicate with them. And in Toastmasters, as I said, that I think is the fuel for eliminating conflict. And it's that open communication. So what I would say, and what I did when I was in a work environment dealing with a challenging boss, is that I over communicated. I literally sent weekly reports that were not even requested that outlined exactly what my team had accomplished. And then I would ask my boss, so did we accomplish what you expected us to accomplish? Were there things we did not accomplish that you wanted us to accomplish? So I initiated that conversation, that communication. And in Toastmasters, I think that we have to do the same. But in Toastmasters, I think we need to have those difficult conversations to say, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling that I am not meeting your expectations. And why is that? What else do I need to do? So I think we can put it on ourselves, even if we believe that they are ego-driven. Let's bring it back to ourselves and what we can do to help that conflict be resolved. So I would say focus on our communication skills, adapting our communication style in order to communicate as effectively as we can with each member and each leader in our organization.
Well, thank you. That's a beautiful answer. Change really starts within ourselves first. And next, we have a question from Satish. What kind of personal developments or skills perhaps are important before someone actually embarks on a journey of leadership? Because many of us, when we join Toastmasters, perhaps we are focusing on presentation skills, communication skills, but many of us did not expect to start on journey of leadership. So what can we first do in terms of personal development, in terms of this leadership journey?
I love the fact that we start out as club officers. And I started out as the club secretary. That was my first leadership position in Toastmasters. So I believe that our levels of leadership give us the opportunities to learn and grow in leadership. I had no idea what a secretary of a club did, but I went to training, and that's what we also need to do. we are trained on every leadership role in our organization. It is so important that we attend that training, that we participate in that training. And I participate in club officer training to this day. I always learn something from the club officer training. So what I would say to everyone is that we start off at the club level in leadership. We take the training, we experience that leadership position. We should ask for feedback. And now there are feedback evaluation forms for leaders at each level of our organization. We should use those. We should self-evaluate ourselves, and then we should ask for feedback from those with whom we serve. We should get 360-degree feedback, in my humble opinion, and then continue our leadership journey through to what levels of leadership we aspire to attain in this organization.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Lark. That's also very beautiful to say, because I think starting at the club level is a foundation for us to go through each of the growth and development, and not to keep ourselves too overwhelmed at the leadership journey. So up next, I have another question regarding conflict management. I think it's good to have conflict within a team, but what if within the team members, after some time in the organization, they becomes very quiet. They go missing in action. So what can the leaders do to manage these people?
If a leader has a team member who has become quiet, then that should be a sign to that leader that that team member does not believe they are being heard. So at that point, that leader needs to engage in a personal conversation with that team member to find out what it is that is stopping them from speaking up, stopping them from communicating. To me, silence is a direct indication to the leader that they need to take action to find out why that team member is silent. And I believe it's because they don't feel comfortable speaking up. They don't believe they're being heard. And so why should they bother to do so? And that is an indication of a leader that is not collaborating with their team, not leveraging the strengths of their team members, not respecting the perspectives of the team members. So I would encourage them to talk with that team member, and then to think about their leadership style and how they need to be more collaborative in their leadership style.
Thank you, Lark, for the answer. I think to keep all the members engaged is very important from time to time. That's why we have those fellowship activities to understand each other. It's not really about the work, but it's also on the personal connection basis. Thank you once again. That's a really good reminder for us to take notice of any signs of burnt out or any signs of silence within our team member. Thank you. I think for this particular session, the FAQ session, due to the time constraint, we are only being able to answer all these questions. If you would like to learn more from distinguished Toastmaster Lark Doley, please stay back. After the end of this session, we have a second round of Ask Lark Anything session, which will be led by Min Po. So thank you. And now I would like to hand over the session back to distinguished Toastmaster Patricia Yap.
Thank you so much once again. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Lark Doley, for leading us the very, very golden questions and also golden answers. And at the same time, huge round of applause to our FAQ master, distinguished Toastmaster Feng Sup Hua, who is currently Division C Director, Advanced #ArdentSpeakers. We are beyond districts, and that's why we are here gathering the geniuses, the minds, so that we can really explore further into our leadership. On this note, definitely is a huge honor now for us to come to the celebration of Golden Leadership Principles. Now is the time that we are privileged, deeply privileged, to acknowledge our Golden Lady, distinguished Toastmaster Lark Doley. And on this note, may I also invite my partners in crime, Albert and President Sassy. Albert and President Sassy, get ready. And on this note, I would also like to encourage all the role players, please turn on your screen. You will be highlighted, spotlighted, so that we can take a photo together. Albert, are you ready?
Just give me a minute here.
Yes, please. And to all our beloved attendees right now, I'm seeing 77. We hit the highest, I believe, is 82. It's definitely our huge honor to have you. And go ahead and send love to our distinguished Toastmaster, Lark, Doley. In the meantime, I will hand the control over to Albert if you are ready. All right, Albert.
Yes, hold on.
Oh, looks like I have to keep talking. Thank you so much
Just one more
for
minute,
the
just 1 more minute.
opportunity. Okay, 1 more minute, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give your round of applause to our beloved golden lady, Lark Doley. Do some hand exercise and really send her the love emoticon. Thank you so much for your golden leadership principles. All right, on this note, Albert, take it away.
So we would like to invite our president to deliver a short appreciation for our speaker today. President Sasi, over to you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Albert. So I would like to express our utmost gratitude to distinguished Toastmaster Lark Doley for having here present in District 51 Advanced ArdentSpeakers Club and adding so much of value to all of us. So representing the whole District 51 and Advanced ArdentSpeakers, I would like to thank you for your contribution and also not forgetting to recognize all the members who work behind for today's event, including distinguished Toastmaster Patricia, Albert, our chat masters, our timer, everyone, and all the members for presenting today. Thank you.
Thank you. Albert, we shall now have the honor to present the Certificate of Appreciation to past International President, distinguished Toastmaster Lark Doley.